In this video, we're going to do a basic setup of using an API key and getting your first call. So in this case, we're going to start off with building that API key. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to the admin tab, then to our API section, and now we're going to generate a key. In this case, I'm just going to call it video. And now we get to add restrictions, certain IP addresses. But in this case, I'll say I do want to access passwords with this key. I do want to perform destructive actions and allow export permissions. So when I create that new key, I now have my key at the top. And I'm actually going to copy this over and save it in a secure place. Once we leave this page, this key will no longer be accessible. So what we're going to do is save that key off to the side. And then we're going to show you how to actually use it. So now I am in the program Insomnia, and this is what we recommend when using APIs. It's just incredibly user-friendly and works across all platforms, Mac OS, Windows, and Linux, so you are able to use it across the board. We're going to show you one of those examples, setting it up initially, and then running a couple scripts. So we're going to start off by making that new section. So I'm going to add new, and we're going to use a HTTP request. I'm posting in this part one of our examples to make sure that the get actually works. Once we have the authentication, I'm going to have the script pop up on screen so that way you can see it a little bit clearer. In this case, I'm replacing the company that you might be using. So just replace that text there and we have that holder for you. So now we have to talk about authentication. We have the auth here, and this will let you use a key, but in this case, it's actually better just to use the header section as we are limited with this authentication method. So instead we go to headers and we're going to do a x-api-key, and now we're going to paste in our key. With that pasted in, now all we have to do is run our first request. So in this case, I'm just looking for companies. Hitting send here, we find all of our companies. And if we want to filter it further, I'll show you just another quick example of a command. So within our companies, we do have this ID tag. And if I wanted to find another company, we'll say company 15. In this case, if I hit send, this does pull up our Good Gracious company with the ID and other information attached to it. Now we're going to do a post. We currently have our companies pulled up with our get, but let's actually put a article into one of these companies. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit for sake of example. We're going to use these IDs here to place that article. And in this case, let's use 61 here, just an easy company for us to find. So we want to point to our new location, which is going to be articles. I'm going to pull up the script on screen so that way you can see a blank use of this, that it can be followed exactly. And what I'm going to do here is actually paste one that's already filled out. At this point though, I'm going to use 61 instead of 16. So I'm actually going to adjust that real quick. So we have our API test 1. This is going to be a KB article, and we want to make sure that we're typing this in JSON because that's the compatible format. We still have it in get, so let's change that to post. And now we're going to send that over. So we have the ID for the article and that everything works properly. If there was an issue, maybe a minor syntax, we'll get 400. So make sure that everything is accurate. Now I'm going to go back and we're going to actually pull up our Hill company in the other screen. So I have my company list here. We're going to find Hill Corp. We're going to go to our KB articles, and we have our API test 1. So we have that all active in there. You will, of course, have to refresh your page to make sure that it's in there, but we can see an example of how to place an article into one of our companies. Again, this is a quick guide and overview, maybe a little bit longer than our other quick guides, but this is just a way to get you started understanding the syntax and just a recommended program to make adding your API push and gets as simple as possible. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment down below or reach out to us and send a support ticket. We're always happy to chat. Thank you.